Hi, I'm NJEA President Wendell Steinhauer. The New Jersey Education Association is committed to great public schools for every child. So we're proud to support Teacher Appreciation Week, a special series produced by the Caucus Educational Corporation, celebrating New Jersey's talented and dedicated teachers.
Excellence in Education, next on Caucus, New Jersey.
Funding for this edition of Caucus, New Jersey has been provided by the New Jersey Education Association, working for great public schools for every child, Wells Fargo Foundation, Holy Name Medical Center in Teaneck, New Jersey, healing begins here, New Jersey Council of County Colleges, Sun National Bank, New Jersey Natural Gas, proud to support education in our communities, and by Fedway Associates. Promotional support provided by The Star Ledger, powering NJ.com, and by Commerce Magazine.
Welcome to Caucus, New Jersey, a very special edition of Caucus, New Jersey. I'm Steve Adubato. Today, we celebrate educational excellence with four, of course, excellent New Jersey teachers. What we need to do to become excellent teachers. Here to discuss that, we have great teachers like Kathy Assini, is the 2013-2014 New Jersey Teacher of the Year, 8th grade teacher at Delsea Regional Middle School, not medical school, that's a different story. Robert Vogt is an art educator at West Windsor-Plainsboro High School North. Merced Solis is a Spanish teacher at Eisenhower Middle School. And finally, back with us again, Regina Andrews-Collette is the social worker at Belmar School District. I want to thank all of you for joining us, and it is an honor to have all of you. And Merced, if I can do this, only because I want to and need to, you also had a career. Now, you had a different career in a hair salon, right?
Yes.
What were you professionally?
I was a hairdresser for 25 years before going into school.
He was not a hairdresser. Do you know what he was?
He's got great hair.
He has great hair, but you know, but what was he? He was one of the greatest professional wrestlers of all time, Tito Santana, and was the WWF champion when?
Probably in the middle 80s. I was a intercontinental champion and tag team champion a couple times.
The best.
So
it is an honor to have you with us. Honor to have all of you with us. Yeah, you're sitting there like. See, he's not just a great educator. He was also a great professional wrestler. I need to ask you. I'll start with you. When you were wrestling, right, top of the game, you were it.
Right.
Did you say to yourself, "I want to be a teacher"?
Not at the time, you know. I was having a lot of fun and you know, traveling the world. I mean, because we were all over the world. I mean, I could have wrestled in Tokyo one night, New York City, and you know, to the Middle East, and you know, it was a fun time. It was hard because you know, I was married and I had kids, and it's one of the reasons I kind of exited early because of all the travels that I was doing.
Why teaching?
Well, it was a big part of my life when I was growing up. I was influenced by my 8th grade gym teacher, and I think he made a big difference in my life. And I mean, I come from South Texas, and I could have gone, you know, a different direction and not followed education and getting into trouble. And I think he was a big influence in keeping me involved with education. I ended up getting a football scholarship, and because of education, I was able to go to college. And I know how much of a difference he made in my life, so I always thought that I wanted to do the same thing. If I could only, you know, touch one student, you know, the way he touched me, you know, I think it's been all worthwhile.
Everyone has their own different story, their own experience. Why teaching?
It's sort of similar. I mean, it was definitely my high school art teachers that influenced me.
Really?
Absolutely.
How so?
One of my teachers, I mean, she point blank said, "You really have a knack for this. You love to help people. You've got a talent. Why not combine it? Why not do both?"
And that was it?
That was it. That was it.
You started teaching when?
Next year will be my 20th year.
20th.
Yeah.
Any less passion 20 years in than 20 days in?
No.
How does that work?
Because the kids come to you with the same level of energy, or at least the same potential energy. So it's not going to change. It's never going to change.
25, am I correct that it was 25 years?
I was in this, by the time I left the salon, I had been there 25 years. Mm-hmm.
You're at the top of your game as
I was a salon manager and
salon
had a full
manager.
book, yeah.
And you say to yourself, all right, I'm not a professional wrestler. I'm not going to be one anytime soon. I think, is the teaching thing in the back of your mind the whole time?
It was. As a little girl, I wanted to be a teacher and thought I was going to be a teacher and ran into a teacher that turned me off and sent me off on I allowed her to send me off on a path that didn't go to college. And I tried secretarial sciences and bookkeeping, but they didn't take it all. So I decided hairdressing looked fun and got a haircut. And while I was there, I trained stylists. As my own 2 children were growing up, I coached Little League. So that coaching aspect of it, I think, is teaching.
And you became the Teacher of the Year. We're going to actually sit down with you and one-on-one. You'll tell us more about that. This is actually, folks, a part of our Teacher Appreciation Week. You know, you cannot celebrate and recognize great teachers enough. So I just want to make it clear this is part of a larger initiative. When you hear your colleagues, right?
I think my colleagues are awesome people. I have a wrestler. I have an art teacher. I have the Teacher of the Year who used to be a stylist. Right. That's exciting to me. I'm not a teacher. I'm an educator, but I'm a school social worker.
Yeah, tell folks what you see every day.
What I see every day is the lack of involvement or parental accountability. What I see now versus what I saw when I first came into profession 23 years ago, it's changing. It's changing in a negative kind of sense. I see less accountability, more of a fear of administration towards parents. So parents take more, yes, because they don't want to have a lawsuit. They don't want to. They don't want the parents who call the board members, and the board members try to influence the administration in terms of. It can be anything as small as cell phones, grades, attendance policies. Those are the kind of things that have been really coming into play a lot. I first got into the profession when the Surgeon General had retired and he came to the hospital that I was working at, because this is my second career, I'm a psychiatric social worker, and he said, you all should be doing primary intervention, you should go into the schools. There's a need for people like you to go in and advocate for these children. So I'm into IEPs, I'm into placements.
Right.
I look at what's best for the student, and if it's not occurring in terms of growth or the goals that are supposed to be met, then I'm going to question why a child should stay there.
Well, on that point, it's interesting. You all talk to our producers about different topics, but one of the topics that you just mentioned, Regina, that I want to bring up is the parents. As educators, don't smile, because you don't know what I'm going to ask. You can't get over that he's Tito Santana. Here's this. Dealing with parents. Those of us who have parents, and those of us who are parents with children in public schools. Do you love that part of the job, or you survive that part of the job? You deal with that part of the job. Merced.
To me, you know, the middle school it's pretty tough.
Describe.
And well, the kids, you know, they don't care that I'm Tito Santana.
Do not?
No, I mean they're gonna try me. They're gonna test me. You know. You have the great kids, and you have the kids that have not too good a home life, that are just looking for attention, and you know, they're going to test, you know, the waters with you, and I do believe whenever I have a problem, and I tell the kids this, I believe in, you know, making contact with the parents.
Describe making contact.
Making a phone call.
And how direct are you with the behavior, talking about the behavior of their children when that behavior is problematic, when that kid is having a problem? How direct and candid are you?
I just tell them, you know, your son is making, or your daughter's making it very difficult for me to teach, you know, pretty rude and disrespectful to me. He's not allowing me to teach, and And the only thing I'm calling is just to look for a little support, and hopefully that you can have a little talk with him and help me out, dealing with his behavior in the classroom. And I would say 98% of the time it works.
It does. So most parents accept it. What's interesting is some of you told our producers, I forget which one of you, said that sometimes the best advice you can give to a parent is let your kid fail.
Yeah.
You said, you both said that, both of you said it. I'm not saying we encourage them to fail, but in our house, I will tell you, we have a 9 and 11-year-old. Our boys are 9 and 11 who I watch my wife struggle with their homework, and I help them with their public presentations. My wife does a lot of the heavy lifting, and I'm sitting there, I see what goes on every night. They are struggling, and I'll say sometimes, they'll come to you at the last minute. You asked them 2 hours ago if they had any homework. They said they didn't. Then they just remembered at 8:30 at night they had something, or in the morning. I said, why don't you let them go in without the homework? Let them deal with, oh, we can't do that.
Yes, we can. Oh, you can.
Now let's talk about it, because my wife's watching right now. Jennifer, you're watching. Why let them fail? And won't that hurt them? Won't that hurt them in terms of their academic careers?
Well, especially, I'm 8th grade, so I teach 8th graders, so that's the best place. The wall comes down once they walk into 9th grade.
Oh, 9th grade is the wall?
Well, because if they're concerned about their GPAs and all of that kind of
stuff. Grade
point
point average, go ahead.
Right. So if in 8th grade they aren't bailed out of what they forgot, what isn't done, they learn that they have to ask questions the day before. They can't go home and figure it out. I think it just makes them become responsible. Mom and dad aren't going off to college with them. At some point, they need to step up and
tough love.
And to a point, yeah.
Jump in.
Yeah. No, I'm in total agreement. I mean, and the pressure's off for me because I'm the art teacher. So but
what does it mean to be the art teacher? You say like, oh, I'm the art teacher.
Well,
why is that different from the math teacher?
I say that facetiously because a lot of times that's the parents' attitude towards the class. I mean, I have plenty of parents who are super appreciative of what I do, but it doesn't. I think in their minds it doesn't count the same way.
You say let the kid, if the kid has not done the work, let the kid deal with the consequences.
Yes, absolutely. And I have kids who fail my class, art class. That's crazy. And that's from not doing the work.
Just don't do the work, you deal with the consequences. Right. I see you shaking your head.
I would say even when we have students who are classified students, a lot of times their parents would say, well, now, how can you grade him the same way? We're not grading the same way, but there's still expectations. Right. And IEP means we're going to be looking at the individual needs of your students.
What does that acronym mean?
Individualized education plan. That's what IEP means. And what we're saying is we're not going to allow your child just to float through, because your child still has to learn. That child has goals they need to meet, and we're telling parents there's going to be homework. Instead of having 30 questions, your child may have 15, but that needs to be done. We have parents who expect, oh, let me get my student classified or get a 504. That means they don't have to do anything.
Why would a parent want to do that?
Our parents give birth. They're not necessarily parenting.
Let me ask you.
The same question?
Well, I'm going to twist it a little bit. I'm going to tweak a little bit. How often, because you talked about, some teachers who are sometimes, or school systems, afraid to deal directly with difficult situations because of fear of this lawsuit, whatever it is. Mm-hmm. You seem to be awfully direct about what needs to be done. And you also said that the vast majority of parents step up and do the right thing, okay? But the students, how many years have you been teaching right now?
This is my 17th year.
17?
Yeah.
How many years? 20? And for you, it's only 2.
No, 13.
Oh, am I math wrong here? 13 years? The math doesn't add up. You couldn't have been doing that for 25 years, it's for 13.
She looks so young.
You're throwing me off here.
Do you want me to tell you how old I am?
No, I'm not, but the math is off. 13 years. Mm-hmm. So here's the question, and you've seen it as well. To what degree do you believe the nature of students, the students in your classroom, to any degree, has actually changed? You think students have changed dramatically? You're already shaking your head. Go ahead, Merced.
Yeah, I don't think I see the respect from the student to the teacher in the classroom now that I did 17 years ago.
Less?
Yeah. for some reason, you know, there's no fear of consequences, you know, and I think it's a big part of the students, you know.
Which goes back to what we just said before. They can't be rescued so often by parents.
Right.
We are not doing them a favor. We're actually hurting them to some extent. Nature of students, different? How so?
I feel guilty saying this, but my kids are better.
Better. Make the case.
And not because they're watching the show, but I find they're kinder. They're.
Now, what school district is this?
West Windsor-Plainsboro.
No, she just fell off the couch. Really?
Yes. Yeah.
Nicer.
Yeah. I have no problems.
Nicer.
And I go in between. They're different. I don't know that they're better or worse.
Is technology changing?
Absolutely.
Whoa, that got a reaction?
Absolutely.
How so?
Well, they're left on their own, to your point.
Yes.
But they're also more clever in what they figure out. And my whole thing is, when I talk to a parent, when we had that part of the discussion, I kind of try to go the opposite way and say, what's going on? What can I do differently to engage? And that's my goal from the beginning of the year, is to make it be their classroom so that they then feel that sense of responsibility. And in doing so, they set their rules, and that helps with the, you're not talking appropriately right now, or so there's just different ways of getting to them.
Is it harder to keep their attention, students' attention, because of technology, because of how much time they spend on mobile devices, instant devices? Is it harder to keep them present and focused? You're seeing that?
Oh, definitely. And as we had mentioned out in the area, we have students who have.
We like to call it the green room, but it's not. It's not even remotely green. But go ahead, just keeping people focused.
Kids have cell phones. They use the cell phones. They're texting constantly. May I use the restroom? They're in there giving answers to the other questions. They're calling.
Is that right?
Oh my gosh. It's so sad what has been allowed to happen. And if someone is getting called on the fact that they've taken the cell phone, how can you take that cell phone? You don't know what that parent wrote. The parent wrote a letter saying the child needs to have a cell phone. What did we do before we had cell phones? When there was an issue.
You got to go to the office, you got to make a call.
That's what you had to do. But, you know, they're up all night and they got televisions in their bedroom, so they're not sleeping. They're texting half the night, 2 and 3 o'clock in the morning. I love you. I want to see you in the morning. I can't wait to see you before. I mean, these are the kind of things that I have parents
And teachers have to deal with that in the morning?
Yes, they do, because the kids are tired, and yet they're expected to now do the day.
Wow.
But this is something that becomes shared when in the parking lots or whatever. My kid was calling somebody all night. No.
Okay, so the teaching profession to some extent has changed because of technology, because of teacher evaluations.
The demands are on the teachers.
Do you want to talk a little bit about teacher evaluations?
Well,
You love it. You love the current system of teacher evaluation in the state. We're in the second year of it. Is that not true?
yeah, and I want to go back a little bit. You know, we have big classes, and you know, most of the students are great kids, but you have a handful that, you know, the same ones that they call them the airplane flyers, or they keep going to the office, the same ones that keep going to the office. You know, it's you know,
You can't get rid of them, can you?
right.
Because it's a public school.
Right.
You got to take everyone.
Yeah, but as far as the evaluation, you know, I'm sure everybody in New Jersey and the whole country, you know, find themselves doing the same thing. Spending less time on preparation for the classroom, and you know, getting your SGOs done, getting your summatives done. You know.
Whoa. You guys are talking teacher jargon now.
The attack of the acronyms.
It wasn't teacher jargon.
So hold on. Are you saying that the teacher evaluation system, which was intended by the state to get a better sense of teachers, give you a report card? Sounds like those intentions sound good to me, but in actuality, I've heard many teachers say there's more to it than that. How has it changed the experience? How has it changed the teacher-student dynamic?
It feels like, for me, I feel like I'm spending more time on something that's taking me away from the kids.
Away from the kids? Why?
Because I mean, with SGOs,
What are SGOs?
Student growth objectives.
What's wrong with having students have growth objectives?
I think we start every year with student growth objectives. We walk into, we meet our kids, and we say we want all of them to be in a better place at the end of the year than they are when they start the year. But now what's happening is we have to find a way of identifying where they are, kind of like by a number.
Quantify it.
And then guesstimate how much better they'll do at the end of the year.
What's wrong with quantifying student progress?
Oh, nothing. And I think that's our goal, but when it's taking more of our time than actually moving the students forward.
Oh, actually just managing the process
It
of
can.
teacher evaluation. Okay, in order, I think I hear what you're saying is, in order to get a good evaluation, you have to manage the evaluation process, which means it's taking time away from the actual teaching experience, which was not the intent.
Right.
Right?
Right.
Well,
Exactly.
we're creating the parameters. We're creating the what the percentages of how many kids will succeed. We make that. No, so it seems a little bizarre to me that there's. It's something to evaluate us, but we're
Totally in control of our
totally in
numbers.
control of it.
But you told our producers you don't worry about the numbers.
I don't, because I know my kids will succeed. Now, the tough part, and with being State Teacher of the Year, I'm involved with the DOE,
Department of
the
Education.
Department of Education, so I'm seeing some of the intent of this process, which is not being translated as well to the teachers in the classroom. So I have a little bit different knowledge of
Interesting.
what the intent
You
is.
see management's perspective.
Right.
Sure. And where is this information going? Who's
There
evaluating that
There is no
information?
SGO police.
Right. Regina, jump back in. How do you see this whole thing?
What I see is it's so much time taken away, and teachers want to protect themselves because they want to make sure that their evaluations are good.
Sure, why
Everybody
not?
That's why teachers have learning plans. They have lesson plans because they plan at the beginning of the year to make each child successful. That's why they have progress reports. That's why they have report cards, because they're constantly gauging the growth that the student's making. They have conferences that are requested. There's always some kind of notice that's letting you know whether or not your child is doing well or not doing well.
I got to ask you this in the time we have left. You're all great teachers, or you wouldn't be here, right? We're celebrating teacher excellence, you know? What do you do when you see a teacher, a colleague who's not getting a job done? Who's just not getting a job done? And forget about a debate on tenure and all that stuff. We're not going to do that here. We'll do that on Capital Report, our sister program. You ever walk down the hall and say, listen, I want to talk to you? To a fellow teacher?
You know,
Peer pressure.
like in my department, you know, when we have PLCs, because we meet every day, if somebody in my department is failing, you know, in some aspect, I do bring it up since I'm the oldest in the group. But when it's out of my department, you know, it's a no-no to be able to and go knock.
It's a no-no. Well, it's not a no-no to help motivate. Sorry for interrupting. It's not a no-no to help motivate and inspire some of your colleagues who you know may be struggling at a certain time, right? You've had to have done that.
It's hard. The professional learning community is the PLC. So
You guys have acronyms for
It's the
everything.
acronym attack. It truly is. But in the PLC, the goal is to be a teacher there too, if necessary, and say, hey, this is what I'm doing, this is how I'm doing it. And I often try to spin it is, what do you think? And then it opens up, because sometimes when people are struggling, whether it's a student or another teacher, they don't know what they don't know.
That's a great, what do you mean they don't know what they don't know?
Well,
They think they're doing fine.
they think they're doing fine.
They don't even know there's another way.
Because we don't watch each other. We don't observe each other.
Right.
So he could be doing amazing things in his classroom, and his kids leave
Yeah.
in 42 minutes, and so do mine.
Which
and
is where I think that our time would be far better spent. Why make SGOs when we can be
You're back on the evaluation.
I mean,
thing.
and I
hear you.
wasn't
In a couple
intentional,
minutes
but it
left.
just made me
What
think
keeps
of
you
it.
motivated?
The kids,
The kids primarily?
100%.
Motivated?
The kids, yeah. I mean, without a doubt, it's, you know, we all prepare our lesson plans, and you know when you hit a home run, you know, and it's a great feeling, you know. And I have pretty good sized classes in my classroom, so you know, I think classroom management to me is the most important thing. You know, once you get classroom management, you know, working to your favor, you know.
And once again, being Tito Santana has no You get no advantage of being the great Tito Santana, intercontinental champion.
I would listen to you.
You get nothing from that. You are. I am so disappointed hearing that. They're not in awe. Don't you show them the old film, the old video?
Well, when we have a little bit of downtime, we do put some of the matches on the smart board, and the kids love it, you know. And it's
that's the best.
We do have a little fun when we have time.
Good stuff. Not much of it. Finally, what keeps you motivated?
My honors kids are going to learn with or without me. It's the kids that have been turned off, that if I can get one of them to say, maybe I can learn, maybe it's just that I learn differently. And that's the kid that makes the difference for me.
Well, on behalf of all of us and the public. Okay, greatest thing you love about education is?
Being a school social worker.
And you do it every day well. On behalf of everyone at Public Television, we love you and we appreciate everything you do every day for our kids. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
The preceding program has been a production of the Caucus Educational Corporation, celebrating over 25 years of broadcast excellence, and 13 for WNET, NJTV, and WHYY. Funding for this edition of Caucus New Jersey has been provided by the New Jersey Education Association, Wells Fargo Foundation, Holy Name Medical Center in Teaneck, New Jersey, New Jersey Council of County Colleges, Sun National Bank, New Jersey Natural Gas, and by Fedway Associates. Transportation provided by Airbrook Limousine, serving the metropolitan New York, New Jersey area. Caucus New Jersey has been produced in partnership with TriStar Studios.
My name is Dr. John Rundback. I'm actually the medical director of the Interventional Institute here at Holy Name Medical Center. Peripheral arterial disease actually is extremely common. It's one of the forms of hardening of the artery. As interventional radiologists, we perform minimally invasive image-guided procedures. Generally, the procedures we do are alternatives to what would otherwise be major surgery. Almost 80% of those patients can avoid amputation if they're referred for us for these sort of procedures.
Holy Name Medical Center in Teaneck, New Jersey, 1-877 Holy Name. Healing begins here.